Sports Professor Rick Horrow, welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard, the show that goes inside the trillion-dollar business of sports, marketing, PR, deal-making, law, everything you wanted to know. And what a week. Obviously, we're beginning the NFL, so we want to talk about college football coming, some new basketball regulations maybe, an incredible PGA Tour event, the PGA Championship. I guess we head to the Ryder Cup, NASCAR, IndyCar, Indy Women in Tech Open. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we have also a special guest across the pond talking about volleyball, a niche sport that should not be a niche sport any longer. You want to see all of our topics, 15 to watch, 5 tech, 5 philanthropy, CSN Washington, HorrowSports.com, at Rick Horrow, whole bunch of places. You can see the top 15 stories of the week, top 5 tech stories, and the top 5 power sports stories. But let's go to a big story that combines all of that. Golf and tech engines revving for the second annual Indy Women in Tech Championship, powered by Group 1001. Boasting a $2 million purse, dozens of the women's world's best female golfers, and a classic location, the Brickyard Crossing Golf Course, designed by Pete Dye. The Indy Women in Tech Championship also shows off a unique week of tech and STEM-focused events for women and girls. Indy Women in Tech makes an annual commitment to support local initiatives financially and through marketing programs surrounding the LPGA event, with a particular focus on expanding the reach of robotic programs in schools, expanding STEM days, helping to create programs that enable professional full-time athletes to gain network confidence, support, and skills to enter the workforce, and equipping them with the skills needed to use tech as a vehicle back to the workforce. Leadership at all levels also an important component of this event. And while the ability to lead and influence apparent on the PGA Tour, as we saw during Sunday's PGA Championship final round, the winner and likely player of the year, Brooks Koepka, had battled timeless Tiger Woods, the LPGA had been missing a true icon for some years. Here's hoping one comes into sharper focus this week in Indy. We know one thing: Group 1001 and all those putting it together understand the real.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor. Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
Winner here is women, workforce training, and charity. All those incredibly important issues as we move forward. Before we talk about the volleyball issue that's been really front and center for me just getting back from Vienna, let's take a look at some of the other international events to understand where we fit in the world stage. LA Rams owner and American billionaire Stan Kroenke agreed to pay $777 million to buy out Alisher Usmanov's stake in Arsenal, becoming the club's sole owner. Kroenke's business, Kroenke Sports and Entertainment, reported that Usmanov accepted the offer. It valued the team at about $2.3 billion. The two billionaires have been battling each other for control of the club ever since they initially invested back in 2007. Kroenke been Arsenal's majority shareholder since 2011 and planning to make offers to the club's remaining small shareholders to take complete control. The capital needed to fund the takeover will likely come from a mix of Kroenke's personal money and raising capital, about $60 million of his own money, $727 million borrowed, which will be borrowed not against the club, he emphasizes. This marks the latest move by Kroenke to expand his sports business empire, but the Gunner fans really aren't happy with the move, citing Kroenke's concern for the bottom line over trophies won. So we understand how important the world stage is for soccer, and there are other issues as well. What about the Olympics? The 2022 Beijing Olympics, only 4 years away. Wayne Gretzky's been tasked to try to grow hockey in China. He's become an ambassador to the KHL Chinese Kunlun Red Star, and in his role, Gretzky will help develop a comprehensive youth program in China, a population of 1.4 billion, a massive opportunity to see what he can do on the world stage. but also understanding that the international stage is clearly more important than anything else when you look at the revenues that are generated from international events. Really good segue. International events carrying the day. The Beach Volleyball Major Series, the A1 Major in Vienna presented by Swatch, was a key event not only for the Austrians, but also for what's coming to America in early February. And for me, spent a whole week there dealing with Hans Jagerhofer and the Red Bull folks, talking about taking a world-class event that generates 120, 150,000 spectators. 60% come from outside Vienna. They stay for more than 5 days. 60% are female. It is an incredible crowd, an incredible demographic. The year before the Super Bowl, it's coming back again to Fort Lauderdale in South Florida. Should be a major event. The promoter's coming back to make sure it is exactly that. And women volleyball, men's volleyball, they sell superstars. Sarah Hughes won the 2002 Olympic gold medal in figure skating. No, this is the different Sarah Hughes. This one was the 2017 Rookie of the Year for FIBA, the volleyball organization. She graduated last year with a business administration degree from USC. She's only 23 years old, but she has the chemistry of Summer Ross to go far and become the face of volleyball after Kerry Walsh Jennings, obviously, in 2017. She's 2-0 in the U.S. with an incredible event in Hermosa, California. She's also won 103 consecutive collegiate matches before she was Rookie of the Year, a certain success on and off the sand. Sarah Hughes.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, inside the boardroom, beyond the scoreboard. You know, we normally do things in Washington or in California. NFL training camps opening up pretty quickly, baseball all-star game. We could talk about all of that stuff with the person we have today. But today we're talking volleyball, beach volleyball, the FIBA Rookie of the Year in 2017. And the sky is the limit for Sarah Hughes. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So the bottom line is that you made a tremendous transition from winning the gold medal in 2002 as the figure. Oh no, that's the other Sarah Hughes. How many times are you confused with the other Sarah Hughes?
You know, a couple of times. Just professional athletes that name Sarah Hughes, they're just, oh, the ice skater. I'm like, nope.
Well, we're doing some of this for NBC, and they'll be able to insert footage. And so as we do it, I assume you'll aspire to be the second Sarah Hughes, this one without the H, who wins a gold medal somewhere.
Yes, definitely.
And obviously in Tokyo. So starting with the big things first, you're going to be 25 in Tokyo, 26?
25.
25. Mm-hmm. So you're starting to train already. This is a big event. We'll talk about this event. But what do you do to kind of think long term but have to behave short term? That's kind of a dichotomy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Right now, though, I'm very much focused on the present because I have a new partner. So we're a young team together. Right now, I'm 23, she's 25. So we're taking it step by step and learning and growing right now. And especially out here on the FIVB, there's so much great competition. So we're learning through the highs and the lows.
And so we're a new partner you're speaking about is Summer Ross. There is a great kind of gene pool with the Ross family too, so I'm sure that's an easy conversation to have. I understand this sport is a lot about team chemistry. It better be because there are only two of you. And every time anybody that doesn't really know the sport looks you up, it's that you turned down Kerry Walsh in 2017 in order to partner with Summer. I'm not sure if that's the real story, but chemistry is really important to you, isn't it?
Chemistry is huge in beach volleyball. If you know, it's hard not to like your partner out there. You go through everything. You travel together. You play together. So especially with Summer and I, we have that chemistry, and both on and off the court, we're really great teammates and even better friends.
And so Kelly Klaas and you had undeniable chemistry, 103 consecutive matches. You won everything in sight at USC. and you learned the game with her, I guess, and you also learned how important it was to have a good partner.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Kelly and I will never forget, the accomplishments we've had together. Those are huge, and to represent USC and USA together, that's something that's unforgettable. But like you said, sometimes you need to switch partners, and in this case, that team chemistry with Summer is getting better every day.
What's it like from a business perspective? Well, first of all, you graduated at USC in business administration, so you certainly know where the dollar signs are and where they're not. Do you do your own books? Do you do your own pro forma? Do you manage yourself?
Definitely, it's a lot of managing myself, but luckily I have the most amazing agent, Thomas McCarthy, who's always there for me, helping me with my sponsors. And then
got the plug in. That's good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of numbers, and we're doing it by ourselves. But my grandma also helps a lot with my taxes because we're bouncing around different countries all the time. So she's always helping me, but mostly you're on your own out there.
You're a walking potential Price Waterhouse or somebody else sponsor or athlete to be, because when you look at the volleyball schedule for the year, how many countries? A lot.
A lot, yes.
Yeah.
So looking for that airline sponsor, right?
Airline sponsor would be great. Austrian Air was great, but that's a one-shot deal. So you got to look for somewhere else.
Exactly.
Focus on the politics of, as much as you can, kind of above the fray, of how volleyball in the U.S. has come to be. There's the AVP. Carrie's got her deal. Obviously, Hannes has the major series here. Is there a way, in your mind, to coordinate all of that, and would everybody be better off if there was kind of one uniform way to approach volleyball heading into the Olympics?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. There's a lot of politics going on right now in volleyball. And I think right now, especially with the AVP, they partnered up.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor. Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
With the FIVB for an event in Huntington Beach, and through the players' perspective, it was absolutely incredible. Mm-hmm. So it's great seeing those two powerhouses come together. And I'm, specifically right now playing on the AVP, and I love it. I love being at every single tournament that they have, and they've been, the most dominant tournament for the decades for beach volleyball. So I know there's a lot going on right now, but for me, I just wish the sport the best and a lot of success, and I want to see a bunch of young girls come up behind us and have a sport to play.
Well put. And hopefully, I guess a shameless plug is that there's an ability of all of the key operators to coordinate in some context. And maybe 2020 gets it done. Hopefully 2020 gets it done. NBC's paying a lot of money, right? NBC's paying $7.7 billion through 2032, which is 60% of the gross domestic product of Switzerland, which nobody cares. But so it would be important as one of the rising faces of volleyball to make sure that you get the uniform platform, that everybody working in the right direction.
Exactly, I completely agree.
Yeah. So let's talk generally about tournament preparation for you. It's a grind, I assume. You come into town, everybody sees you smiling and all ready to go. But talk about getting ready and keeping yourself fit and getting on planes and doing all the travel and everything you need to do. Yeah,
it's a lot. We just recently, we were playing in the Hermosa Beach AVP. Summer and I won. The final was scheduled, I think, for 3 o'clock on Sunday. We got pushed back a little bit. We had a flight at 7:30 to come here to Austria. So we won the final in a huge battle, and then we had to go do interviews, and we ran, unfortunately we couldn't say too much to fans, and we said our thank yous really quick, ran, barely got a shower in, and headed straight to the airport. So it's a grind, it really is, but it's part of our job, and I think just learning and doing that correctly is how we have to go about it.
And the bottom line is, the more you understand your routine at 23, the easier it's going to be at 25 and 30 and 35, I assume.
Exactly. big thing, especially now, is recovery and strength and conditioning. A lot of the players, they say they didn't have that. You know, our coach was like, you're so lucky about all this recovery stuff. You guys can last longer. So from a young age, I'm trying to learn all that so my body can last as long as possible.
What's it like to go to a lot of countries who don't know anything about American football or NBA or our sports, real sports? What's it like?
No, it's funny, but you know, a lot of different countries that love the NBA.
Yeah,
so they're always, you know, cheering on that. But it's fun. Beach volleyball is something that's well known around the world. So I think I like that, playing a sport that a lot of people know.
And I assume you keep an open mind and learn the cultures where you are. And what's your, hard to do because you're very good at political answers, but favorite volleyball destination? Do you have a favorite? Do you have a few, maybe?
Favorite volleyball destination? I mean, Vienna is absolutely incredible. Stade. Porek. All the major stops are absolutely. I really, really enjoyed Portugal this year, but nothing beats being at home.
And with the American fan, have you seen American fans getting a bit more sophisticated about the game than they did before, would you say?
Oh, I would say so, definitely. I mean, I have people message me on social media asking me all these questions, and they're so in tune now, and that's really fun to go to an AVP match and people know the rules, and they're standing up, they're cheering for you, and it's really great. Volleyball community is amazing.
And what about the younger? What is the best path for high school with still Title IX, obviously, college programs better than before, youth programs, facilities for beach volleyball training academies, starting, the tennis model, making sure the kids are there. What's the advice on how to make sure that we get more players like you coming up?
My advice to any young player is to play as much as they can and have fun while doing it. I actually started playing beach volleyball before indoor, and I fell in love with the game so early on because I had a group of people around me and a coach who just purely loved the game and had passion for the game. So it's kind of getting a little crazy out there right now with, parents worried about their 8th graders signing to college. I would take a step back, learn the fundamentals, develop a young player, and have fun with it. Go into the USA system young. They have so many great programs now. Play in any tournament you can and just have fun. And don't worry about the scholarships yet. They'll come.
I assume you were a jock in junior high and high school. Could you have done other sports? And what made you ultimately choose beach volleyball, indoor and then beach? Yeah,
I loved playing every single sport. Basketball, soccer, running track. But I vividly remember the moment I was 8 years old. I went for a tryout for beach volleyball, and I stepped on the beach, and I was like, this is the best sport in the world. And my heart and passion was always lied with beach volleyball, regardless of what sport I was playing.
You jealous of Alex Kleinman, who's 7'7"? I mean, do you wish you had another foot?
I mean, everyone always wants to change something, right? But I'm genetically blessed with great hops. So thanks, Mom and Dad. So you know what? I'll get what I can take.
I think you probably will do better with great hops than that extra foot. So Sarah Hughes, we were interrupted by a titanic rainstorm here in Vienna, but now you won your match and you're on to the quarterfinals, and we're going to run this well after this tournament is over. But you're very happy. So it seems like you're doing very well, as you normally do. You won Hermosa Beach and you won New York. So as far as domestic tournaments in the U.S., you're 2 for 2.
Yes, right? That's right. 2 for 2 on the AVP.
Yeah. And so what's it like playing against international competition, getting ready for Tokyo? You need to do that, not only the Americans, but you need to be the best in the world.
Yeah, being out here on the FIVB is so important for us Americans, even though we have a great domestic tour, because like you said, in the Olympics, you're playing the world competition, and that's exactly what it is out here.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Basketball fan?
Yes.
So Laker fan now, especially with LeBron
to the Lakers,
yeah.
But always been a Laker fan.
Always when they were terrible the last 3-4 years?
Yeah, of course.
Easy to say now.
I went to USC, we were in Los Angeles.
Well, you could be a Clipper fan, but easy to say now as far as the Lakers are concerned. So, from from your perspective, are you jealous of the kind of LeBron money is out there? Not for LeBron himself, because he's redefined basketball, but that people who are athletes as well and maybe less training, regardless of that, make 40 times the amount you do. How do you feel about that?
You know, it's never easy to see, one football player going for $40 million.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it just depends the kind of athlete you are in the sport. You know, I play beach volleyball, and that's what I love, and that's why I'm here. It's not because I'm here to make, $40 million. As much as I'd like that, we're here because we love it, and it's hard, but I think once we unify the sport even more so, I think more money will be coming in. I think that's hugely important. So it's we got to take it step by step, and I think it's important for players, not to chase after another $100 here or there just because it's a little bit more prize money. It's about, like I said, unifying the sport, being able to have a future for the sport, a growth for the sport, for not only ourselves, but the young kids coming up.
Words to live by. Final question for you. Where is Sarah Hughes 5 years from now?
5 years from now? Oh my goodness.
I know that. You don't even think about that.
Right?
Just give me the liberty and think about it and answer that question.
Yeah, 5 years from now, I want to still be playing. I want to have a gold medal around my neck from the Olympics and fighting for another spot for the next one, which is in Paris.
Paris, and then how about LA? How about
and then,
that?
Of course, that's my goal, Paris and LA. And, of course, always being with my family is really important. So with my family, who knows, maybe a husband at that point. I'm taking my time. I don't know.
Take your time on that one, but I'll tell you what you ought to circle. So you'll be 33 in LA. Have we done those numbers correct? 32. And we better circle on the calendar. It's probably going to be the first week in August. And so that's going to be an amazing homecoming for you.
Oh, I cannot wait. That would be a dream come true, playing in the Olympics right down the street.
Yeah. Well, listen, American volleyball and volleyball generally is in really good hands. Sarah Hughes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it. Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. See you soon.
Sarah Hughes can provide some insight into the challenges, but also the opportunity that faces the volleyball establishment as they try to coordinate, present a unified force to NBC and others for Tokyo in 2022, and also to help grow the game at all levels, high school, college, professional, and the like. So let's talk football. We always want to talk football. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers calling for more consistency when it comes to the opening national anthem dilemma in pro football. Rodgers agrees with 49ers CEO Jed York about halting concessions during the playing of the anthem before games. Everybody in the stadium stands and does the exact same thing. You have people in the concession, people in the bathroom, cameramen on their knee watching. You can't have it one way or another. Rodgers went on to underline the looming misconception.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor. Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow, the sports professor. We're going to rewind our featured interview, reset the show a little bit, and pick up from there. Here's Rick Horrow.
2.
Yes, right? That's right. 2 for 2 on the AVP.
Yeah. And so what's it like playing against international competition, getting ready for Tokyo? You need to do that, not only the Americans, but you need to be the best in the world.
Yeah, being out here on the FIVB is so important for us Americans, even though we have a great domestic tour, because like you said, in the Olympics, you're playing the world competition, and that's exactly what it is out here.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Basketball fan?
Yes.
So, Laker fan now, especially with LeBron.
To the Lakers, but always been a Laker fan.
Always when they were terrible the last 3-4 years?
Yeah, of course.
Easy to say. Easy to say now.
I went to USC. We were in the Los Angeles.
Well, you could be a Clipper fan, but easy to say now as far as the Lakers are concerned. So, from your perspective, are you jealous of the kind of LeBron money is out there? Not for LeBron himself, because he's redefined basketball, but that people who are athletes as well and maybe less training, regardless of that, make 40 times the amount you do. How do you feel about that?
You know, it's never easy to see, one football player going for $40 million.
Yeah.
But I think it just depends the kind of athlete you are in the sport. I play beach volleyball, and that's what I love, and that's why I'm here. It's not because I'm here to make, $40 million. As much as I'd like that, we're here because we love it, and it's hard, but I think once we unify the sport even more so, I think more money will be coming in. I think that's hugely important. So it's we got to take it step by step, and I think it's important for players, not to chase after another $100 here or there just because it's a little bit more prize money. It's about, like I said, unifying the sport, being able to have a future for the sport, a growth for the sport, for not only ourselves, but the young kids coming up.
Words to live by. Final question for you. Where is Sarah Hughes 5 years from now?
5 years from now? Oh my goodness.
I know that. You don't even think about that.
Right?
Just give me the liberty and think about it and answer that question.
Yeah, 5 years from now, I want to still be playing. I want to have a gold medal around my neck from the Olympics and fighting for another spot for the next one, which is in Paris.
Paris, and then how about LA? How about
and then,
that?
Of course, yeah, that's my goal, Paris and LA. And, of course, always being with my family is really important. So with my family, who knows, maybe a husband at that point. I'm taking my time. I don't know.
Take your time on that one, but I'll tell you what you ought to circle. So you'll be 33 in LA. Have we done those numbers correct? 32. And we better circle on the calendar. It's probably going to be the first week in August. And so that's going to be an amazing homecoming for you.
Oh, I cannot wait. That would be a dream come true, playing in the Olympics right down the street.
Yeah. Well, listen, American volleyball and volleyball generally is in really good hands. Sarah Hughes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it. Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. See you soon.
Sarah Hughes can provide some insight into the challenges, but also the opportunity that faces the volleyball establishment as they try to coordinate, present a unified force to NBC and others for Tokyo in 2022, and also to help grow the game at all levels, high school, college, professional, and the like. So let's talk football. We always want to talk football. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers calling for more consistency when it comes to the opening national anthem dilemma in pro football. Rodgers agrees with 49ers CEO Jed York about halting concessions during the playing of the anthem before games. Everybody in the stadium stands and does the exact same thing. You have people on the concession, people in the bathroom, cameramen on their knee watching. You can't have it one way or another. Rodgers went on to underline the looming misconception about why players protest the anthem. Not to protest the song itself or the troops serving the country, but to protest social inequality and racial injustice. And NFL Hall of Famer Jim Brown chimed in, noting that he personally would never take a knee during the playing of the national anthem, but yet he's not going to denigrate my flag, and I'm going to stand for the national anthem. I'm fighting with all my strength to make it a better country, but I don't think that's the issue. The NFL's regular season kicking off in mere weeks, the league running out of time to hammer a solid national anthem plan down, and we notice that no matter what happens on the field, this issue is not going away. Just one tweet from the White House away from continuing. Aaron Rodgers in the headlines again. He's one of the 4 professional athletes featured in Sharpie's Uncap the Possibilities campaign, which looks at how each athlete is inspiring positive change through their own chosen charity. In the video series, Released in partnership with the Players Tribune, Rogers talked about how his grandfather served in the Air Force and active duty during World War II. He came home with a Purple Heart and a Silver Star. His service, one of the greatest achievements of his life, Rogers said. And the Wounded Warrior Project works to help veterans live life on their own terms by providing free programs and services in mental health, career counseling, and long-term rehabilitative care. In a statement, Sharpie said, "It's the natural talent that has enabled the quarterback to orchestrate countless thrilling come-from-behind wins in closing minutes of the games. And Aaron's chosen charity, Wounded Warrior, is all about the strong comeback that the wounded veterans it serves can experience." Amen. Football season heating up. Maybe not heating up as much in Washington with the Redskins. 200,000 names on the waiting list a while ago, and now they're scrambling to attract new fans and hold on to existing ones. Redskins offering season ticket holders discounts ranging from 20 to 50% on all food at FedEx Field, and when they scan their paper tickets after placing an order at the concession stand. The approach, ultimately catering to the fan base, comes as a drastic change in strategy from previous years. And without a playoff win in a decade, the Redskins looking for alternative ways of getting people in the seats for game days. Prediction, brand will come back, but it doesn't happen overnight. Let's talk tennis for a second. ATP, WTA, PNB Paribas Open Tournament chairman Larry Ellison has become an investor in the reform project for the Davis Cup. Means there may be an even greater possibility of bringing the event to California desert as early as 2021. Ellison clearly is the wealthiest man in tennis and among the world's wealthiest people. He became an investor in the 25-year, $3 billion partnership between the ITF and investment group Cosmos that's expected to reform Davis Cup into a one-week event. Ellison purchased the Paribas Open and Indian Wells Tennis Garden in 2010 and has since invested substantially into making the March event into a marvel within the sport. The Cosmos ITF Davis Cup Reform Project creates a season finale with 18 tennis nations and their individual tennis stars playing at world-class venues. The August 16 Orlando vote meeting could become more clear whether this could eventually bring more world-class tennis to Indian Wells when the ITF votes on whether to accept this proposal. And the event, as envisioned by the Reform Project and Ellison, could generate significant revenue for tennis development worldwide. Let's talk baseball. We all want to talk baseball, trade deadline and otherwise. The Braves have two things to be happy with this day: performance and their bottom line. They're battling it out with the Phillies for control of the NL East. Don't forget the Nationals, by the way. Over the first 3 months of the season, the team showed a modest increase in revenue and a surge in profit. The team's revenue from Q2 up $6 million compared to last year's number, $182 million this year versus $176 last. The really impressive number is the club's profits. Last year, the Braves reported a loss of $1 million. This year, reporting a quarterly profit of $37 million. The Braves reported owner Liberty Media said increased profits were primarily driven by higher revenue and reduced operating expenses from lower player salaries due to the acceleration of player salary expense in previous quarters and as a result of released and injured players. And by the way, business continues to boom around SunTrust Park with the new 140-room hotel coming to the Battery. If the team keeps winning, expect the money to keep coming. On another level on baseball, LionTree becoming a minority investor in Ripken Holding LLC, the parent company of Ripken Baseball. LionTree, a global investment and merchant bank, strategically decided to invest in Ripken Holdings in an attempt to help jumpstart an expansion of Ripken baseball operations at the youth level. The amount invested not disclosed, but the capital will be put toward developing more youth baseball companies around the country. Ripken Baseball currently operates such facilities in Aberdeen, Myrtle Beach, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and adding a minority partner gives us an infusion of capital where we can now really expand the model, said Ripken's Holdings CEO and Hall of Famer Cal Ripken Jr. And with LionTree, this is also a firm that has a lot of digital expertise and allows us to grow that part of online content and teaching business too. Ripken Baseball, long been a pioneer in trying to grow baseball to the youth level, helping MLB overcome one of its biggest hurdles, youth engagement. Finally, let's talk basketball at all levels. It's not too early to do that. In the wake of this past year's FBI scandal that took college basketball by storm, the NCAA unveiled a series of rules changes aimed at cleaning up and reforming the game. The NCAA broadly promoting stricter enforcement of the rule, tougher penalties for violation of such rules in the new rule book, and adding independent investigators for complex cases. And in such instances, NCAA investigators will now be allowed to accept information established by another administrative body, including a court of law, government agency, accrediting body, or a commission authorized by a school. One of the biggest issues going forward now is how USA Basketball, the NCAA, and NBA work together on implementing these changes. Under the new rules, elite high school basketball recruits and college players eligible to be represented by agents who are certified by the NCAA. They're talking to USA Basketball about selecting which players will be allowed to sign with agents, but they want no part of bearing such responsibility. The changes are being hailed as enormously significant by those in college basketball, though they likely won't be implemented until 2022 at the earliest, and they still need to be ironed out over time. Well, there's another controversy, but it's a relatively small one. When you think about scheduling, it's an issue, but not an issue that's going to drive a wedge to everybody. The NBA, in a long overdue move, but they do it every year, released their basketball schedule for this year, and what do you think? Christmas Day gets the biggest games they have every single year, and they continue to do that. NBA's schedule includes the key games with the Warriors, the Lakers, LeBron, Christmas Day, the marquee matchups, the Sixers and Boston, the Thunder and Rockets, capped off with a matchup between LeBron's Lakers and the reigning NBA champion Golden State Warriors. Some question the league's scheduling decisions, specifically why the
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, more Rick Horrow, the sports professor. Welcome back to Beyond the Scoreboard with Rick Horrow. We pick up right where we left off.
The key games with the Warriors, the Lakers, LeBron, Christmas Day, the marquee matchups, the Sixers and Boston, the Thunder and Rockets, capped off with a matchup between LeBron's Lakers and the reigning NBA champion Golden State Warriors. Some question the league's scheduling decisions, specifically why the Lakers open the season on the road instead of its Staples Center, while the Warriors, Rockets, Lakers, Celtics matchups not being featured on Christmas Day. But here's the take. In a league that's so driven by fan engagement and television ratings, the NBA had to make a tough scheduling decision in any event, some to the chagrin of local fans. And then finally, remember what happened last week when we talked about the NBA and their groundbreaking commitment and decision with MGM? Well, Mississippi now follows Nevada, New Jersey, and Delaware, operating sports books at Beau Rivage Casino in Biloxi and Gold Strike Casino in Tunica, according to John Wall Street. Both properties, by the way, owned by MGM Resorts International. State laws will require anyone wanting to make in-game bets to visit their local casino, as mobile betting will be restricted to those on the casino's physical premises. Currently, no other states in the South offer legalized sports betting, though neighboring Alabama has more illegal college football bets per capita than any other state in the country. Why is that? While MGM has the first mover advantage in Mississippi, William Hill has gone to greater lengths to establish itself. The company has already announced partnerships with 11 casinos around the state. And Mississippi's advantage as the only southern state with legalized sports betting expected to last for at least a year, but it could be longer. And kudos to the NBA for getting out ahead of this and defining the rest of the field. Well, that's our podcast for the week. We'd like to thank Dan Martin and Tanner Simpkins for putting this together. We'd like to thank Sarah Hughes for potentially being the face of women's volleyball in the future and a great event with the Beach Major Series. Looking forward to that February event. We'd like to thank you for watching and listening and joining us next week when we go Beyond the Scoreboard.